Let me ask you something right now. Whose life are you living? Are you building your dream? Or are you trapped in the expectations, opinions, and distractions of everyone else? Focus o yourself. SC motor Japanese. Because here's the truth: the moment you stop looking out there and start tuning in here, in your heart, your soul, your vision, that's the moment your life begins to transform. Listen to me, most people are addicted to distraction. They're scrolling, comparing, doubting, wishing, blaming. But you're here because something inside you knows you were made for more. And guess what? You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You don't need someone to tap you on the shoulder and say, knows your side that. GHT. No. Focus on yourself. Stop chasing approval. This is one of the most powerful shifts you can ever make in your life. From the moment we're born, we're conditioned to seek validation. Parents, teachers, friends, social media, we're constantly being graded, judged, and compared. And before you know it, you begin to build your entire life around what others think of you. You shape your decisions, your appearance, even your dreams based on how well they'll be received. But here's the truth. As long as you're living for approval, you're living someone else's life. Focusing on yourself means turning the spotlight inward. It means getting radically honest about what you want, what you believe, and what you are capable of. It's no longer about fitting in, it's about breaking out. When you stop chasing approval, you free yourself from the invisible chains that keep you small. Because approval is addictive. Every like, every compliment, every nod of recognition gives you a temporary high, but it also reinforces the belief that you need it to feel worthy. That belief is a lie. When you focus on yourself, you shift your energy from performing to progressing. You stop living reactively, constantly adjusting to people's expectations, and start living proactively, driven by your own mission. You don't wake up wondering if you're good enough. You wake up asking, what am I building today? Who am I becoming? That's where real power lies. Not in applause, but in alignment. You have to understand approval comes with a price. It costs you time, energy, authenticity. It makes you say yes when you mean no. It makes you dim your light so others won't feel insecure around you. It makes you doubt your own instincts, your own ideas, your own voice. And worst of all, it keeps you in a loop of hesitation. You don't take the shot. You don't make the leap. You don't step up because you're too afraid of what they might think. But they don't have to live with your regrets. They won't suffer the consequences of you playing it safe. They won't look back on your life with disappointment. You will. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means you stop betraying yourself to keep them comfortable. It means you stop editing your greatness to make others feel better about their fear. The people who change the world, who build empires, who create legacies, they are not approval chasers. They're vision chasers. They're truth tellers. They're bold enough to say, this is who I am. This is what I want. And I'm going to go get it, whether you like it or not. Because when you focus on yourself, you stop needing permission to rise. You just rise. Eliminate distractions and tune into your inner power. Every single day, you are bombarded with noise, notifications, opinions, endless scrolling, constant comparisons. It's a war zone of attention out there. And the more you engage with it, the more it pulls you away from who you really are. Distractions aren't just little interruptions. They are tools of delay, stealing the energy and focus you need to build the life you want. And the cost is enormous. Not just time, but clarity, momentum, and ultimately fulfillment. There is a power within you that's waiting to be unleashed, but it's buried beneath layers of noise. That power doesn't speak loud, it whispers. It speaks in quiet conviction, in intuitive nudges, in the stillness of knowing. But most people never hear it because they're too busy reacting to the world instead of creating from within. You have to make a conscious decision to eliminate what drains you and amplify what drives you. This isn't just about putting your phone on silent or logging off social media. It's about setting boundaries with anything that doesn't serve your growth. That means saying no to people who gossip, no to distractions that numb, no to habits that keep you stagnant. Because every yes to distraction is a no to your potential. You can't move forward if your energy is scattered. You can't grow if your mind is fragmented. And you can't lead if you're always looking sideways instead of forward. Tuning into your inner power requires solitude discipline and self-awareness. It's about carving out space to think, to reflect, to connect with what actually matters. When you strip away the noise, what's left is truth, your desires, your values, your unique rhythm. And in that space, you begin to realize just how powerful you really are, not because of what others see in you, but because of what you discover in yourself. You weren't born to consume, you were born to create. You weren't made to chase every trend, you were made to set your own. The world wants your attention, but your destiny demands your focus. And the difference between a life of purpose and a life of regret is where you choose to place that focus. It's not easy. You'll feel the pull, the temptation to escape, to procrastinate, to keep busy instead of being intentional. But that's the test. Can you choose depth over distraction? Can you choose alignment over approval? Can you listen to your inner voice when the outer world is screaming? The ones who break through are not necessarily the most talented. They are the most focused. They know what they want. They block out the noise, they get to work. Day after day, moment after moment, they build, not for applause, but from purpose, not for attention, but from intention. That is the power of focus. That is the reward of tuning in. Growth begins when comfort ends. Everything you want, everything you dream of, everything you are meant to become, it all lies just outside your comfort zone. The problem is comfort is seductive. It's predictable, it's safe, and it gives you the illusion that everything is fine. But fine is the enemy of great. Comfortable is where dreams go to die slowly without resistance. And if you're not careful, you'll build your entire life around avoiding the very discomfort that's meant to set you free. The human brain is wired for survival, not success. It craves stability, routine, familiarity. So the moment you start pushing into the unknown, the alarms go off, fear shows up, doubt kicks in, resistance tightens its grip. And that's exactly when most people retreat. They stop, they settle, they say, maybe this isn't for me, but what if that resistance isn't a red light? What if it's a signal that you're exactly where you're supposed to be? True growth doesn't come from repeating what you already know. It comes from doing what you've never done. It comes from the firsts. The first time you speak up, the first time you take the leap, the first time you choose discipline over ease. Growth lives in the friction, the stretch, the challenge. Every time you face something uncomfortable and push through, you expand, not just in skill, but in identity. You don't just do more, you become more. The pain of growth is real. There will be failure. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when everything inside you screams to go back to what's familiar. But the comfort zone has a ceiling and growth has no limit. The longer you stay comfortable, the more you shrink, the more you challenge yourself, the more you evolve. And with every breakthrough, you raise your own standard. You begin to see what you're actually capable of. Nobody achieves greatness without discomfort. Nobody changes their life by staying where it's easy. Every person who has built something extraordinary has walked through fire. They've failed. They've been rejected. They've wanted to quit. But they chose to keep going, not because it was comfortable, but because it was necessary. That's the price of growth. It doesn't come with guarantees. It comes with grit, with perseverance, with the willingness to get uncomfortable again and again. Growth demands decisions that scare you. It demands that you stop negotiating with your fear. It demands that you lean into the unknown, even when it feels like chaos. And it rewards those who stay the course with transformation of body, of mind, of spirit. It's not about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to act in spite of fear. Every uncomfortable choice is a vote for the person you're becoming. Every moment of pain is a signal that you're alive, that you're in motion, that you're growing. You are the main character of your life. Too many people are living like extras in their own story. They wait for someone else to lead, someone else to approve, someone else to give them permission to go after what they really want. They play small, dim their light, shrink themselves to fit into someone else's narrative. But life is not a rehearsal. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is your stage, your story, your shot. And the moment you recognize that you are the one in charge, everything changes. Being the main character doesn't mean everything is perfect. It doesn't mean you don't face setbacks or challenges. It means you take ownership. You stop blaming the past, the system, the people around you. You stop waiting for someone to save you. You realize no one is coming. You're it. And that's not a curse. It's your greatest power. Because if it's up to you, then you have the authority to shift it, to rewrite it, to rise no matter what's come before. Main characters make bold moves. They don't sit on the sidelines. They don't keep quiet when their soul is screaming to speak. They take risks. They fail. They stand back up. They grow through the pain, not around it. They don't ask, what if I lose? They ask, what if I never try? And they live in pursuit, not of perfection, but of progress, purpose, passion. When you step into that role fully, you begin to see life differently. Obstacles stop being punishments and start becoming training grounds. Criticism stops being a threat and becomes fuel. Fear doesn't paralyze you, it activates you, because now you're not reacting to the world. You're creating your world. You're choosing your next move with intention. You're showing up with presence, with power, with clarity about who you are and where you're going. Every story has moments of struggle. The difference is main characters don't give up during those chapters. They fight. They transform. They use the adversity to become something more. They see their scars not as shame, but as proof that they've survived, that they've grown, that they've earned their strength. Your story is still being written, and every day you have the chance to shape it, to add to it, to evolve in it. You don't need to compare your journey to anyone else's. This is not their story. This is yours. You don't need their script. You don't need their lines. You have your own truth, your own fire, your own message to bring into the world. And when you live like the main character, you stop apologizing for who you are. You stop hiding. You stop editing your greatness to make others comfortable. You begin to walk with purpose. You speak with conviction. You lead your life like it matters, because it does. Transformation requires ownership, not excuses. Nothing changes until you do. That's the raw, unfiltered truth. You can wish, hope, visualize, and talk about what you want all day long, but until you take full responsibility for your life, nothing will shift. Excuses feel good in the moment. They protect your ego. They give you something to blame, but they also keep you stuck. They are the invisible anchors that hold you in place while life passes you by. Ownership, on the other hand, is uncomfortable, but it is the gateway to real power. Owning your life means looking at every area, your health, your mindset, your relationships, your habits, and saying, this is mine. This is on me. It doesn't mean you caused every problem, but it does mean you're responsible for your response. That's the difference between being a victim and being a leader. A victim waits, a leader acts. A victim complains, a leader creates. A victim blames. A leader builds. Transformation is not something that happens to you. It's something you create. It's a conscious decision to stop running from your pain and start learning from it. It's refusing to let the past dictate your future. It's refusing to give your power away to circumstances or other people. When you truly own your life, you stop saying things like, I can't, I don't have time, I was never taught. And you start saying, I will figure this out. You start moving differently. You start thinking like a problem solver instead of a prisoner. No one is coming to save you. Not a mentor, not a coach, not a program. Those things can help, but they can't replace your responsibility to act. You can have all the tools, but if you don't pick them up, nothing gets built. Excuses make you feel safe, but they also make you small. Ownership might be heavy at first, but it sets you free. Because when it's on you, then it's in your hands. And when it's in your hands, you can mold it, change it, upgrade it. The transformation you crave begins with a decision to stop running and start rising, to face your patterns, your fears, your procrastination head on, to own your time, own your energy, own your choices. You can't afford to keep outsourcing your power. You can't keep pointing fingers outward when the truth is the shift has to start within. Your life will change when you stop waiting for ideal conditions and start mastering your inner world. Ownership isn't a one-time declaration. It's a daily commitment. It's waking up and choosing to lead yourself even when no one's watching. It's doing the work when motivation is gone and discipline is all that's left. It's holding yourself to a higher standard because you know your potential is bigger than your excuses. Transformation is a process, but it starts with a single moment of truth, a moment where you stop lying to yourself and decide to take control. Rise with purpose, become unforgettable. Every single person walking this planet has a fire inside them, but most never let it burn. They live on autopilot, going through the motions, doing what's expected, following the crowd, and wondering why they feel so empty. Purpose is not some magical thing you stumble upon by accident. It's a decision. It's a calling that you choose to answer. It's that inner pull that tells you there's more for you, more to give, more to do, more to become. And when you rise with that kind of clarity, with that kind of passion, you stop fading into the background and start carving your name into the world. Rising with purpose means you don't just get out of bed because you get up because something inside you won't let you stay down. You have something to say, something to build, something to fight for. You stop chasing temporary highs and start aligning with long-term meaning. Your energy becomes different. You're not easily distracted. You're not easily discouraged. You have direction, and that direction fuels everything. Your thoughts, your habits, your focus, your choices. Becoming unforgettable doesn't come from trying to impress people. It comes from being so real, so committed, so grounded in your mission that you leave a mark just by showing up as your full self. It's not about fame. It's about impact. It's about how you make people feel. It's about the standard you set, the values you embody, the legacy you choose to create every single day. You don't need to shout to be remembered. You just need to live in truth and act with conviction. When you have purpose, your pain becomes fuel. The struggles, the setbacks, the doubts, they don't break you, they build you. They shape you into someone who can carry the weight of their dreams. You stop asking for the path to be easy and start asking for the strength to keep going. You develop resilience, grit, and an unstoppable mindset. People will notice. They'll ask what changed. They'll feel your shift without you having to say a word. Purpose gives you power, and that power is contagious. It wakes something up in others. It challenges them to rise too. Because when you live with intention, you remind the world of what's possible. You become a mirror, reflecting back the truth that greatness lives in all of us, but only a few are brave enough to answer the call, to stand tall when it's easier to shrink, to speak up when silence feels safer, to take the shot when failure is guaranteed but regret is worse. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to coast, to blend in, to settle. There is something inside you that is meant to be expressed, to be unleashed, to be remembered. When you rise with purpose, you stop living for the weekend and start living for impact. You stop hiding your gifts and start using them with courage. You step into rooms differently. You speak differently. You move through life with a presence that can't be ignored.